Wife planned romantic evening, then ditched me last minute. Wife texted me on Tuesday. My mom said, Tommy can't sleep over Thursday night. Maybe we can put your birthday presents to use. BG. A month ago, her gift to me was visiting a sex shop to pick out lingerie and getting straps to tie her down, also her idea. But she hasn't followed through with the actual present of putting on lingerie and/or wanting to use the bondage strap. Of course I get excited. We have struggled in the bedroom, and one issue is that I'm always the one that has to initiate and try to romantic. I was tired of seeing the unused presents sitting in a bag atop the dresser, but didn't mention it to her, so I was excited she finally brought it up. I had been thinking about it basically non-stop. Researching how to do a BDSM scene, patching myself up to be dominant. I enjoy the role, but I'm an introvert, so it takes some effort to get into that headspace. Last night she leaves to drop off Tommy to his grandma's. It's close, a 5-minute walk. A little while later, wife tells me kid is throwing a tantrum about forgetting his tablet. I'm working from home and it's slow, so I offer to walk it over for a 15-minute break. I bring it over and chat with my wife and Mil for a few moments while Tommy plays with his cousin. Then Jordan's sister calls. About 5 minutes into the convo, as I'm trying to tell her I need to leave and get back to work, I hear her tell her sister, "Well, you could take your sister out to Garlic Burgers." After she gets off the phone, I wait for the show to drop. Sure enough, sister wants me to go out with her. When she asks me if that's okay, I do the passive-aggressive thing. If that's how you want to spend the night, don't let me rain on your parade. She says she won't. Then a couple minutes later she is texting. See, get up to leave. She tells me her sister is on the way to pick her up. She was in her car and asks if I want a ride home. I preferred to walk. We meet back at our house and she just hangs around, not really saying anything. I'm not happy, she can tell, but I don't want a confrontation right before her sister pulls up, so I just shut down. BG. We have had fights in recent past about her making plans with me, especially ones that include sex, and then not following through. I have a very high libido. H has none. We are in sex therapy. She never does the homework. So she leaves. I'm pissed, so I have a smoke and then clean the kitchen. I'm a crier. Like bad. It's a thing I'm working on about myself, but I have no tolerance for emotional pain, and my body just cries really easy. So I'm home alone, doing the dishes, crying. After some dwelling, I text her that I don't want to do the kinky sex stuff because I'm not feeling very dominant anymore. I'm not sure when she is coming home or if she was still planning on that. I was just being honest and not trying to shut down any intimacy. She doesn't respond, which gets me more upset. She gets home and can tell I've been crying, says nothing about it or my message. Small talk ensues for a few minutes, then she turns on the football game while I continue to do the dishes. She hasn't talked to me since sitting down. I'm trying to figure out who started the silent treatment and what I did wrong, so now I'm anxious and emotional again. I go to the garage to roll another cigarette. When I come back through the house to the back porch where I smoke, she asks if I'm okay. I say yes. She asks if I've been crying. I say yes. When she asks what wrong, I respond, it's hard to talk about right now. I say this because in previous arguments she has expressed displeasure with my tears. She mocked me a year ago when things were rough and I've never gotten over it. Other times she's told me I'm trying to manipulate her. We've been married 11 years. She's seen me cry a million times, rarely because of her. A sappy movie, even a song can get the waterworks going. It's just a part of my emotional makeup, and she knows this. We have had many discussions, so that's why I'm not delving into it at the moment. I'm still teary and on the verge of crying. I go out to have my smoke. I come back in and she is in the shower, so I go have another. Come back in and she's started a movie we were supposed to watch as a family. It's an October tradition. She says nothing to me, so I take a shower, get out. She says nothing, so I start to read a book our therapist suggested. After about 20 pages sitting there, not being acknowledged, I get up to have another smoke. Come back, ask her if we can end the silent treatment. She gets defensive and I explain I wasn't assigning blame, just asking for it to stop. She holds my hand, says nothing for a while, then asks what I was reading. I tell her and ask if she has read anything the therapist assigned. She hasn't even stated anything. I tell her I feel like I'm the only one trying to fix the dead bedroom and dying romance. Explain my feelings about her standing me up. Tell her I was crying because when she disregards my feelings makes me want to disregard hers and cheat, and that's not the person I want to be. I apologize for the passive-aggressive behavior and unload a lot of what I had been on my mid throughout the night. She doesn't respond, holds my hand, but no words back after trying to be open and have a conversation. 5 minutes later she is asleep and I am alone again with my thoughts and emotions. For many reasons I have been considering divorce for a few months. My therapist even encourages me to see a lawyer. I know it's small, but last night feels like the last straw. At 4 a.m., fretting about what I should do, I decided if she didn't talk about it, what I'd tried to talk about last night. I am talking to a lawyer. I'm not going to pry I out. I need her to come back to me with something, anything. I've dropped hints via text. Part of me just wants to tell her what to do again, but is that my job to tell her it's wrong to ditch your date with your husband or to not respond when someone is clearly trying to have a heart-to-heart? TLDR, wife and I are in a rocky patch. She ditched our planned date to hang out with her sister. This is a pattern. I poured my heart out to her and she didn't respond and fell asleep. Now I'm considering divorce. AIO. Edit, typos galore. I'll fix with a computer when I can. Bad thumbs. Edit 2. Full transparency. I am not at Angel. About a year ago we had a breach of trust. Therapist words. It was strictly online and more me seeking companionship online than finding it. This is relevant because she is texting me about last night. She says that every time I'm on Reddit it is a breach of trust. That's where I was being unfaithful. This is the first time she has mentioned that me using Reddit is a problem. I told her I'd delete tonight if she would commit to quitting social media as she very much addicted and spends most her free time on it, which I have expressed is a barrier for me to feel close to her. Anyway, in case all that is relevant, that's where things are at right now, and yes, I had to lead the horse to water to get her to even communicate. 2. Edit 3. She's been snooping in my phone. She knows exactly how I feel and has said nothing about it. Story 2. Interactions leading to more. So, just had an interesting interaction with someone I've made eye contact and laughed with before at the pool. She also has kids and we've interacted from the standpoint of her and her kids worried about them playing and getting my Kindle wet, and my response being, if I'm dumb enough to bring something not waterproof to a pool, that's on me. It's a pool in an apartment complex. I just try and stay out of the way of Marco Polo. It was only me, her 2 kids, and a local guy I've had a few beers with at the walking distance pub. He was pretty familiar with her, so I assumed they knew each other. I needed hydration and hopped back to my place to get a 6-pack. I got back and he was gone, and she initiated conversation. Apparently I missed her signals, and she didn't know him and was uncomfortable. I got back and she asked for my number because I'm safe. She knew I'd noticed her but hadn't hit on her. Apparently the 1-second whiplash look wasn't offensive. She's widowed less than a year, not ready to date. She said she generally just says she's married. Kids are close to the same age, at least her second batch. We discussed snap circuits, being Gen X, being more protective of our kids than ours were. How do I read this? I'm fairly straightforward. Not ready to date is not ready to date, but she gave me her number back. Does that mean I'm more than an emergency? Come to the pool, I'm alone with a creep? Would I haven't cooked out in a while and am going to be at the pool. The grill isn't worth it for just me. Up for burgers? It's also weird because I've already met her kids. There's no waiting, being cautious on that front. I'm leaning towards messaging her with links to things we discussed. Her son is the right age for snap circuits and will be 11 in September. And Ready Player One references a lot of our stuff as Gen X. Where is the line? I don't want to violate her trust, but I'd like to get to know her without closing the door on dating. When the hell did life get so complicated? The kicker, she had on a hat with a flag on the underside of the brim. We didn't discuss politics, but that's a sign of possible incompatibility. I get along with most people, but generally not people that make politics a part of their identity. Not sure she does, though. Update, thanks. My biggest concern was overstepping. I just sent a text saying I forgot to mention the AC adapter was a huge battery saver for snap circuits, and we've been texting all day about kids growing up too fast. The challenges of enjoying them now but knowing they're going to outgrow us. Middle age is depressing. Story 3. They won't put the special sauce on my sandwich. Good afternoon, everyone. I just wanted to ask here because I thought maybe someone would have an idea as to why this is. I'd like to preface this with a couple of disclaimers. I'm aware this isn't a big deal, this is totally a first world problem, and I sound like a whiny fatty when I complain about this, but it is getting under my skin. I, 25 am fortunate enough to be able to travel internationally for my work. Something fun and gimmicky I like to do is try McDonald's in every country I go to and see how it compares to my home country, USA. While in Korea, I work the night shift and have weekends off. I'm able to go out and eat good quality made fresh by local restaurants during my free time, but for the most part, everything is closed once I get off work. I thought, hey, this seems like a good opportunity for me to try the McDonald's here. While I tried some of the novelty items from McDonald's and kinda liked them, after a while I was just craving a classic burger. I walked inside and asked if it would be possible for me to get a double quarter pounder with Big Mac sauce added on. The clerk behind the counter looked confused, explained he didn't speak English, so when I put my request into Google Translate, me made a large X with his arms and shouted, "No." I was taken aback by this response, so I decided not to press the issue and ate my non-macad sauce sandwich in defeat. A few days later, me and my co-workers go to a different McDonald's during our night shift lunch break, and I again ask if it would be possible for me to get the Big Mac sauce on a double quarter pounder. This time the clerk understands and speaks a little English, however again tells me that they can't put the sauce on the sandwich. I ask if I can instead get a small cup of the sauce and was told no. I ask if I can pay for it and I am told no. I ask if there is any way to obtain this highly coveted sauce, and she said yes, buy the Big Mac, MTM. I, once again, order my double quarter pounder defeatedly. My co-workers think it's funny and start joking about it, but I'm both frustrated at the refusal of a seemingly reasonable thing and curious as to what the actual reasoning is. Finally, last night we go to a different McDonald's through the drive-thru, and I once again asked the clerk if I can get a double quarter pounder with Big Mac sauce. He seemed reluctant to answer, kind of danced around it and said, no. Only ketchup and mayo can go on that sandwich. But me, and there is no way for me to get Big Mac sauce max on it? Clerk, no, there is not. Me, okay then, thank you. I lean back into my seat, irate, my co-workers laughing even harder than before, and my sandwich is received once again with no Big Mac sauce max on it. From me, and there is no way for me to get Big Mac sauce. I keep going back and forth on this. I asked for it on the sandwich, in a cup on the side, I offered to pay for it, I asked why not, and still nothing. I get that it's really not that big of a deal and I should just get over it. I mean, it's just a sauce at the end of the day. But what I cannot get past is the sheer resistance that I was met with over the sandwich. I have to know the reasoning. Is it store policy? Is it some kind of culture thing? Is the system completely automated and there is no way to select Big Mac sauce when constructing a double quarter pounder TM? It cannot possibly be the language barrier. Each one of them knew exactly what I was asking. Outside of this, Korea has been amazing. The cities have been nice, beautiful, efficient, and the people there have been kind and welcoming. Reddit, am I blowing this out of proportion? Does anyone have an answer? Story 4. My GF is a literal child when it comes to feeding herself. I, 29M, have been dating this girl, 32F, for about a year now. She is the literal definition of the meme about the girl who can't decide what she wants to eat, and then proceeds to get very hangry like a Snickers commercial and throw a tantrum directed at me when I didn't do anything. Why is this acceptable behavior? It's not cute. I have tried many things to remedy this. I cook for her. I often spend my own money to order delivery for us, 'cause she can't just eat on her own. She gets angry if I don't eat with her even though I've already had dinner. We do not live together. It's like, sorry, but I ate before we decided that I was coming over. Now you're mad at me because I ate already? Make it make sense. We've had many arguments that are literally just about food. She acts as if it is my responsibility to choose what she eats, when she eats, make sure it's something she wants, she's picky, and then come through whether I'm cooking or ordering. Applebee's? No. Mexican food? No. Chinese? Nah. Burgers? Nope. Insert anything. I get a no. Okay, well then WTF do you want me to do? I even bought her a joke gift on Amazon that is a dice that has different types of food on each side so that we could decide, try to make light of the situation. She probably has no idea where it is. I've heard the say to her, guess where we're going for dinner and get what she says and other crap like that. Don't work. The only thing that has worked one time was saying, send me any TikTok or Instagram recipe you have saved and looks good to you and I will make it for you. But then I end up buying $80, $100 worth of groceries to go to her house and cook us a meal that she ends up having 4 bites of. After all that, I started taking some of those groceries back to my house, 'cause it's like, damn, I need them too. I am by no means ballin' like that financially. She buys her own groceries, she goes to Costco and buys a bunch of food, but she never transfers anything from the freezer to the fridge so that she can actually cook it, so it just sits in the freezer for months and never gets cooked. I've even put stuff in the fridge for her. I've also told her that you can cook frozen food, there is ways you can thaw it out, but she's scared to. The bottom line is, how can you be 32 years old and be incapable of feeding yourself when it has never been easier to do so in the history of mankind? I feel like I've tried hard to feed her when I can, so to deal with angry energy after all that sucks. We are a couple, but we also are independent at this point in our relationship. We both have our own place, we're not married, no kids. Nothing like that. It's not my responsibility to make sure she's not hangry, yet many times I have made it my responsibility. I will go days without seeing her, be so excited to do so when I finally can, and then have the entire night be derailed by this issue. Story 5. AIO, or rather, is she, when it comes to interaction with exes. My SO and I both have kids from before this relationship. My take is this: I trust the past is the past, therefore I trust your decision-making when it comes to your ex. Her daughter had a dance recital. Afterwards, the topic of dinner came up, but I had a schedule conflict. I encouraged my SO to go celebrate her daughter even if I'm not there. So she, her ex, daughter, and her daughter went to dinner. She says this was okay because other family was there, but I'll come back to that. She has had birthday parties at her house where she made this man a plate and walked it over to him, and her excuse was, I was just trying to get rid of food. I paid 50% of the tuition for her daughter to spend the summer in NYC at a famous dance school, but the recital tickets were limited to 2, so I was chill about the fact of not being able to see the show. I went to a bar and hung out. It was her and her ex, alone, seeing the show. He did not put up half. Maybe 10%. I know her daughter loves me, but I'm just like my son is less concerned about my SO's presence. I'm not mad at the fact that her daughter is looking for her dad-on in the audience, not me. She has taken her daughter to his family's events and had private 101 conversations with her daughter's grandmother and great-grandmother. I'm fine with all of this, except the making a plate thing. But these are examples of what I think of as her hypocrisy. Today is my son's birthday. I have been asking him repeatedly for a week what his plans are, but like so many teenage boys, he tells me last minute he wants to have brunch with me, his mom, and his brother, also our son, age 21. My SO gets upset. It's inappropriate for it to be brunch with just me and my ex. After my son's middle school graduation ceremony, I took everyone out to dinner, maybe 10 people, including my ex. I picked up the entire bill. This was wrong of me. What was I supposed to do? Tell the waitress I'll cover everyone but my ex? That's weird and embarrassing for everyone. I am HO. And it's not like she went overboard. She got 1 entree, no extras, no drinks. My mom has BBQ'd, and my ex will be picking up our dropping off our son, and in doing so she'll stop in for a burger. This too is inappropriate, even though family is around. In the eyes of my SO, we're pretending to be one big family again, and my mom favors my ex over my SO. My ex has her own relationship with my mom because when my son is with his mother, my mom will pick him up from school as a favor to her. I work remotely, so when he's with I do all the pickups. But my ex doesn't work remotely, so she depends on my mom and therefore sees her more often than I do. But the idea that they formed their own friendship outside of me is unnatural/not understandable for my SO, even though she definitely has her own relationship with her ex's mother and grandmother. I'm not bothered anymore. I kinda see it as a childish temper tantrum / immaturity / mental rigidity / hypocrisy / maybe gaslighting. So my reaction at this point is null. I just kind of ignore her. But is she overreacting? One, he sees her about 2 days a year. I'm picking her up and dropping her off to school, following up with teachers, washing clothes, cooking, etc.